What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live, but in a different format. This is our first time doing our 2.0 or Leave It Alone live. Actually, funny enough, last night Ryan and I were planning on recording this, although we had talked about weeks prior going live with it. And then all the last chance stuff started happening, and Ryan and I are sitting there cracking up because I'm just having a pre-order and pre-order and pre-order. And by the time we looked at the time, it's like almost 10 o'clock at night. So we're like, dude, that's a sign. Maybe we should go live with it tomorrow. So hope you guys are all doing well. Control Delete says echo. Is there an echo you guys are hearing? Hearing? Again, another thing, guys, for some reason, my light keeps flashing. So if you see my light flashing on and off, I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on there, but I think the guy that wired it did a poor job. But of course, tonight we have Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles. This is our series that we typically do together. And also, we have Chris from Collecting Madness. There's a particular reason I wanted to bring Chris in on this one especially, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But it's great to have you, Chris and Ryan. I think this is going to be really fun to do. It's awesome that we have 20 people here already watching. We didn't think a lot of people would come out for this, but I know Dark Side Anakin has that effect, guys. So I'm really excited to talk about with you all and hear your thoughts. But let's say what's up to some people in the chat. Of course, as always, my boy Insane One here in the chat. Hope you're doing well, Insane One. It's good to see you. I hope your tapeworm is here, ready to get at those people that don't like and subscribe. Carlito, he let me know earlier. By the way, guys, just want to let you know if you guys are or are not in the Facebook group, there is a messenger chat now for the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group, and I've been having a lot of fun in there. And we have been posting like new stuff that's coming out first in there, as well as just chatting about figures and stuff. So if you aren't in the Facebook group yet, I definitely recommend hopping over to the Facebook group because that chat is definitely a lot of fun. And if you guys ever have questions or anything like that, me and many other collectors are in there willing to answer questions. So it's a really good resource and it's fun at the end of the day. So it's definitely worth it. Of course, my boy Matt is in here. Matt says, hey, everyone, there is only one choice 2.0. But hey, you called it a choice. So that means there's more than one choice. Because at the end of the day, we all have choices, right? Gap After Dark says, hello, all. Gap After Dark, I hope you are doing well. It is good to see you as always. Payton23 in the house. Payton, it is always good to see you, my friend. I had a feeling you were going to be here, and I'm glad to see you. And he says, just 5 subs away from 900. Guys, we're almost at 900 subscribers. Yes, I can't believe it. So once again, for those of you who aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Once we hit that 1,000, we are going to be giving away a Hot Toy. So it's right around the corner. And Control Delete said right before we started that he just subscribed. So I really do appreciate that. And it's good to see you as always. I know you've been tuning in the last few streams, so it's awesome to have you here as always. Let's see. 8-Bit Flea, my friend 8-Bit Flea. He says, yo, what's up, 8-Bit Flea? I hope you're doing well. Who else we got in here? All right, everybody's saying no echo for me. Cool, cool. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for clarifying that. I guess maybe he was talking about the Echo Hot Toy. Kaiju says, good morning, all. Kaiju is good morning from Japan. So I hope you're doing well, Kaiju. It's good to see you. I do want to check out your Stranger Things Lucas video. I'm going to check that out after the stream. So I appreciate you sharing that in the Facebook group. Cigars and Bacon in the chat says, what's up, party people? Cigars is good to see you as always, my dude. You guys know Cigars is not only here every week on Thursday, but also on Geeking Out. Many streams throughout the week. So if you love hearing what Cigar has to say, those are the places you can find him. Austin Nicholas in the house. He says, yo, guys. What's up, Austin? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, that is the Chris Doppelganger, as many people in the chat like to point out. Boba Fettuccini says, what's up, folks? My favorite username. What's up, Boba? I hope you're doing well, my dude. Who else we got in here? Fake Bantha Boy says, guys, this ain't Thursday. I guess the timeline is broken. It's a little broken, but the good news is if you come here for Thursday stream is still on. This is just an additional little piece of cake on top of that. You know, we would never get rid of the Thursday stream in favor of a Tuesday stream unless it was the same thing. And this is something a little different. So don't worry. That's still happening. Cigar says, oh, thanks for that, bro. Of course, dude. What else we got here? Apologies. The echo is due to my mistake. Okay. No worries, dude. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't coming through for everybody. And guys, sorry, I'm a little sick. I'm sure you could tell, but we're going to get right into it. And we're going to ask some questions on the screen. And when I do have some questions to pose to the chat as well as to the panel, I will let you guys know. Some questions just are more beneficial to ask to the panel versus the chat, because you'll find out here in a second. But any discussion is definitely welcome in the chat. But we're going to pull this up real quick, guys. So I do have this pulled up here. This is kind of some history on the figure. I also want to pull up our first question as well, which was, when was this figure released? And the figure we're talking about, guys, of course, is Darkside Anakin from Hot Toys. Now, this figure was originally a Toy Fair 2018 exclusive, guys. And this is one of the first ones that was kind of an anomaly, right? Because it was released in 2018 as a Toy Fair exclusive at the convention. And then it later showed up on Sideshow as a general release for the general public, which is pretty interesting because this figure, you guys know what it sells for. A lot of you are very aware of what it sells for, and we're going to take a look at that. But this figure sat forever, guys. And it's funny to look back on that, being that this is such a big grail. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Star Wars Hot Toys grails for a single figure. And it's crazy to remember that this figure sat forever. I remember I sat there and stared at it for the longest time on Sideshow. And it's one of those figures that really very much appealed to me. And it's so I'm so glad that it was able to be released through Sideshow, because I've never been to a big convention like that. So this would have been a figure that really never crossed my path unless I got it on the secondary market or had a chance to get it for retail through Sideshow. Now, the original retail price was $267, guys. What do you think of that?
Wow,
knowing that it comes with that incredible Lava Droid base, like, what do you think of that price? $267, man.
That's insane.
I know, and it's like, yeah, and isn't it crazy now to think that the prices are starting to kind of equalize back to that point again? Of course, they don't have a light up lava pit droid base, but we are starting to see some 270s pop up here and there. So it's really good to see the prices are starting to come down a little bit. Of course, that doesn't apply to everything, but $270, guys. Now, those of you in the chat who may have got this on the secondary market, that I'm sure that's mind blowing to you. Like, holy crap, $267. I wish I was collecting then. Or some people may have been collecting then, and they didn't pick it up for retail at the time. But yeah, very interesting indeed, guys. And this figure kind of set a precedent on the secondary market for a lot of figures, because this is one of those figures that really kind of took the secondary market by storm. And I remember around that time when this one started going up, a lot of other figures started going up. So it really added that collectability to the Star Wars Hot Toys figures that was there, but it kind of took a big leap after the Darkside Anakin started going up. Now, the next question, guys, we're going to pull up photos in the background here while we answer this question. Do we currently have this figure in our collection? Because obviously, this is a question that kind of guides the whole discussion and what our thoughts are, maybe a possible 2.0. And this is a question for the chat as well. Do you guys currently have this figure in your collection? I have mine to the side. Now, guys, I've said this many times, and I'll briefly pull up my camera here. I've said this many times, guys. Here's my Darkside Anakin here. I hope it'll focus for me. Maybe not. I got to get more lighting. Ever since I swapped out there we go. But ever since I got this figure, it really took the crown as my favorite figure in my entire collection. And it's kind of stayed that way. Every time I get a new figure, there's just nothing. As much as I love it, there's just nothing that tops the Darkside Anakin for me. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, they kind of go hand in hand for me as my favorite character in all of Star Wars. So getting both of the Anakins was a must for me. I absolutely love this figure. I do think there are some improvements that could be made, and we'll talk about that in the future. But generally speaking, I do think overall this figure definitely stands the test of time. It looks great. I mean, it's not an old figure by any means. And when I look at the paint apps, I'm like, this is some of Hot Toys' best work, in my opinion, especially in those eyeballs, right? Because that's what a lot of people really want this figure for. Apart from that lava base, is those eyeballs, those Sith eyes that we very briefly see in Revenge of the Sith. They don't have that much screen time, obviously. And that's obviously a big debate, too, when you're talking about this figure. But Ryan or Chris, do you guys have this figure in your collection currently?
Let me pull him out. Here he is. It's a bunch of air.
Oh, swing and a miss.
Yeah, big whiff. So I do not own this figure. Came out. I didn't start collecting Hot Toys till 2020, and to be honest with you, even when I started in 2020, I didn't get into Star Wars until late of 21, and yours almost fell over. Probably.
Oh, no, he just busted his ass. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll buy it at a discount. I didn't start collecting Star Wars till end of 21, going into Mando. When Mando took Storm, that's what started my Star Wars kick. And so obviously, like you said, the price was astronomical. There's a few figures that I paid premium pricing for, like a Yondu or certain figures like that. But the interest wasn't there at the time for me spend that kind of money on this figure, so I do not have it in my collection.
Chris, do you currently have this figure in your collection?
Actually, here's Annie. No, dude.
Man.
So I have the light side. I unfortunately don't have dark side Anakin. Funny enough, I actually picked this one up before light side fell into my lap for a good deal. So I grabbed that guy. He's temporary for now. That's why I'm hoping there's a 2.0, but we'll get into that later. And then as far as my experience with Darkseid, like before I got into collecting, I had the Sideshow Anakin, like that they did long ago. Like it doesn't even compete with Hot Toys.
Right.
So if you know, you know. And I was into those Sideshow figures. Now they did a Darkseid one too, but I never jumped on it. And it was like my dream figure to have the Darkseid Anakin as well. And so my brother started collecting and he was like, Chris, they have this one on back in 2018 when it was sitting. And at the time I was like, dude, there's no way I'm paying almost $300 for a figure. And he was starting to collect them. He got home from California, brought them in person, and that was it for me. But by that time it was gone. So
dude, it stinks. And we've all been there, right? We've all looked at figures sit in stock on Sideshow. Perfect example for me. One of a big regret for me, a purchase I did not make because at the time I had Detolfs, right? Are the Royal Guards. I sat there and watched those Royal Guards go up. They had discounts on them, and I'm like, they just don't look good in the Detolf because I have the Palpatine on throne. I'm like, it's just too congested. So it happens to all of us, dude. And this is one that I'm sure a lot of people at the time, they're like, I'm going to get the light side Anakin and call it a day. And they didn't foresee that this figure would be worth so much. It's kind of hard to predict that at the time, you know. I want to address some of the comments. We've got a lot of comments coming through. Let's see. KTH said, I jumped on it. Am I an ass for still having it in the box? I don't think that makes you an ass, but I will say be very careful keeping figures with pleather in the box. Because I've seen many times that plastic clamshell sitting against the pleather, pull the lid off, and part of the surface of the pleather just comes right off with it. So if I were you, I would let that figure breathe. Obviously, I don't know your situation, but that's just my personal thought on it. But I don't think that makes you an ass at all. 8-Bit Fleet, and funny 8-Bit Fleet, that was also one of my first Sideshow 6-scale figures. I also had the Dark Side Anakin. I had the Light Side Anakin as well. I ended up kit bashing that one with a custom sculpt and then sold it to a friend. But I had the Dark Side Anakin version as well. I sold it long ago, but yeah, that one sucked me in as well. That was one of my early cheap 6-scale figures that I bought. Thick Panther Boy says, that's a good price. I bent over and got pegged on the secondary market. Unfortunately, a lot of people had to pay out for it, you know, and of course we always talk about the 2.0s and stuff, but a lot of people are conscious enough to say, you know what, this is a character that I know and love. I want this now. What can I do to get it? And we're going to talk about later what it takes to get it. But a lot of people have gone through that mindset. And I've done that for other figures. I mean, I got this one for retail, but I've gone through that with other figures, right? I've had to go through that thought process of, okay, do I want to wait and see if another one comes out and wait 2 years, or do I want it now? You know what I mean? Slugging 16 is not me. 8-Bit Flea says, I passed on him like a dummy because I already had the Sideshow version of it. And see, again, like it's one of those things you don't really have the insight at the time because no one expected this figure to explode like it did, right? Misfit says Hot Toys Hotline is staring too. What am I staring at, Misfit? Am I staring at Chris's beautiful Hot Toy or wannabe Hot Toys Dark Side Anakin that he shared with us?
I should have them both side by side.
You should. That's why you got to pick this one up so you can do a comparison. Yes, the perfect Anakin quote. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
I know. All I could do was a comparison of the light side one. So I would like to see the eyes in person.
Yeah. It's awesome, dude. Like I said, this figure definitely holds up in terms of the paint apps on the face. The eyes look absolutely incredible, and that's what really sold it for me.
Yeah, I've seen yours in person, so I drool over it every time.
Daniel Q says, I've got light side Anakin. It's essentially a dark side Anakin Darth Vader. Exactly. I mean, again, in the film, obviously you do see those Sith eyes very briefly. So you really could call your light side Anakin a Darth Vader if you want to use it that way in your display. And it is accurate, you know? So I totally agree with that. Big Dog Pound says, I want more, but I know I shouldn't. Another great Anakin quote, but You know, I should start saying that to myself more with Hot Toys. But then again, I get bullied by Chris and Ryan every time I buy something. So more so, I will say more so Chris, because Ryan's right there buying stuff with me. So I'm gonna blame Chris for that one.
Chromandos and DeLoreans.
Oh yeah, guys! Breaking news. Since Ryan wants to bring it up, I was gonna save myself the embarrassment. I didn't get my DeLorean email. Just saying, I didn't get my DeLorean email.
Neither did I. But you know who did?
Ryan got his email, guys. I'm real jealous of him, but you know,
CMB, I think.
Yeah, don't even get me started. CMB says L'Oreal Annie. That's funny, dude. But let's see what else. I can't pay $800 for him. Sluggin16 says, I'll just wait since I'm a new collector and seeing a 2.0 come out. That's fair. It's definitely very expensive in its current state, and we're going to take a look at the secondary market and the current state of the secondary market for this figure very shortly. Lane is not here tonight. Lane will be on our main show, but he's not here on the this is a shorter show, so we can't have as many people on the panel, so that's why we have just 3 tonight. But I can't believe we have 36 people watching. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect with this show, so we very much appreciate you guys being here and talking about Darkside Anakin with us. TX Boy, good to see you as always. He says, yo, what's up, everyone? Great Grail. Fortunate enough to have both versions of this Anakin in our collection. And now Clone Wars and Attack of the Clones will be coming home too. Must collect all Anakins.
That's a good idea, Connor, by Matt right there. You should put a poll up.
Oh, yes, I should put a poll up.
Just do 2.0 or no, and just leave it up for the rest of the stream.
Let's see.
Clutch, Matt. Thank you for that.
Matt, you're assuming that I know how to put up a poll.
Oh, no.
Let me see here. There we go. I found it. I'm putting up the poll per Matt. 2.0 or no, leave it alone. Darkside Anakin. All right, guys, here we go. Per Matt's idea, we have a poll up now. So, guys, feel free to drop your votes in that poll, and we will check on the responses towards the end. But let me read a couple more comments. And Cigar says, yo, let's pump them likes up for the channel and the panel. Very much appreciate that, guys. Yes, if you have not liked already, please consider doing so. Monica says, no 2.0. I want to see them tears. Yeah, Monica loves seeing those tears. Hey, Matt, you did put me on the spot, but I adapted. And I would say 10 seconds isn't bad for finding that. I've never actually looked for it before. Barrett, good to see you, Barrett. I love the profile picture. Very hyped for The Last of Us right now. He says, I have the light side Anakin, so bring on the dark side Anakin 2.0. I totally understand, dude. It's going to be a good opportunity for you to grab if they do end up doing that. I paid $400, 1/6 Star Wars Pimpazoid says, for Dark Side Anakin about a year ago. Hey, considering what the market was even a year ago, I would say you did pretty well. Which kind of brings us to our next question here, guys. And let me bring up this next tab. We did talk about the original retail price, and for those that are just getting here, $267 was the original retail price. Absolutely unbelievable.
Like, it's unbelievable because the pricing now is like I just pre-ordered Daredevil today, and I yes, I had a $20 coupon, so I got him for $250, which is like, you know, all right, that's great, but it's unbelievable thinking $267 based on what you're seeing right here.
Right, and he has what we would consider now like a diorama base, which pushes up the prices on the figure quite a bit. You know,
that's insane.
But guys, and of course, we're very aware that the Facebook market is a bit different. But generally speaking, I know a lot of people still buy on eBay. eBay is kind of like an inflated market on its own. But guys, let's take a look at the prices here. Now, also keep in mind, guys, you do have to pay taxes on eBay. So $675 or best offer, $5.60 shipping plus taxes. You're looking at $700, guys. That's a lot of money. $657 free shipping. $650 free shipping. $650 free shipping. You got a $1,500, 16 bids. And you can see what happens, guys. A lot of times on eBay, some people, they just get in this mode and they have a lot of money to spend. And when people go back and forth and bid with them, some people just get that rush and they don't think about what they're doing in the moment. And then you have listings like this with 16 bids at $1,500, guys. $1,500.
That's insane. Like
that's a lot of money, dude. $1,500.
Hey man, that's an NR Joker 2-pack right there.
That's an Art Joker 2-pack with Toys Wonderland, $300 shipping. That's what that is right there. Rooted. That's two vehicles from Hot Toys, a DeLorean and a Batmobile.
Or you can get 2 DeLoreans. You know,
2 DeLoreans. So it's crazy what people are paying for this right now. $810. You can see, guys, honestly, the average is $650 on eBay right now. I mean, looking at these recently sold listings, $650 is the average.
And
Even a box for $50, guys, that's a hot
what's
commodity.
What's interesting about this, and to cut you off, there hasn't been any, not that I've seen, I don't follow it like crazy like this, but I haven't seen any shakeup in the market that like it stayed at 650. It's not like it dropped down to like 400 and then it's gone up to 8. It's literally stayed at 650. Like it just stayed.
It's
There's
like
nothing
the main
to drop
ones.
its market value right now. It's 650.
It's like him, Han and Chewie.
Yeah.
The
kings.
Tarkin and Vader.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the kings of the Star Wars Hot Toys market right
Old
now.
Ben. Yeah.
Old Ben.
And to credit Daniel, because Daniel just said it's why you don't go on eBay, which is fair. It's just that on Facebook Marketplace, I think you just use eBay. Like you're painting, when you're doing this kind of analysis, you're just kind of painting with a broad brush.
Right.
To get an idea. Of course, you're going to get a deal on, because I mean, I would hope that when you sell to, and I don't mean to hijack this part, when you're selling in the Facebook groups, you're selling to collectors. So collectors know collectors, so you might sell for a little bit better of a price because it's going to sell right away. So you might get it for a little bit cheaper, but they're diamonds in the rough to find like that. Like they really are. I still have never seen Darkseid on Facebook for less than 500.
Yeah, and Daniel, like I mentioned, he does go for cheaper on Facebook Marketplace, and I don't know if you've checked out my video, Daniel. I did do a purchasing guide for 2022, 2023, purchasing Hot Toys. And I very much go into this in depth of the difference in the market on Facebook versus eBay. The reason we're using eBay as a guide is because a lot of people who don't watch YouTube or aren't in the Facebook communities, which makes up, unfortunately, a good portion of the Hot Toys 6 scale collecting community, they do purchase from eBay. And it's also easy to kind of gauge all of the recent sales together. Facebook doesn't really make that too easy because of the way they've changed their Facebook groups recently. So that's the main reason we're going through eBay at the moment. But yeah, you're absolutely right. On Facebook, you do get to find deals, but also another great point from Cigars is there still are deals to be had on eBay. You just have to know where to find them, and you have to dig and kind of sort through recently listed, ending soonest, and try to find a good deal that way. Obviously, these are just recent sold listings, so these are what the figures ended up selling for. But again, that is still a sign of wow, $650 plus. People are paying for this very frequently. These are all very recently sold listings all throughout February. So definitely insane what this figure is going for. TK says 2.0 just so I don't have to pay $600 plus. I hear you, man. Trust me, I hear you. Matt says I'd rather pay a little more for a DeLorean. Only a matter of time for Hot Toys to make a 2.0. Yeah, and a lot of people are going to be kind of weighing that question with themselves. And we kind of talked about this on the last stream, but you kind of have to try to take a break on the secondary market right now. With everything quickly going to last chance, everything quickly waitlisting, you kind of have to take a break because you're like, I got to drop this money for an NRD, or figures that are in stock are finally going up for deals. And you're like, okay, now's my time to grab that figure while it's available for a deal. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, dude. Yes, that is a lot of Republic credits. Wolf Moon says hello and yes on the 2.0 Darkseid Anakin. Matt says I've sold about 10 Hot Toys. It seems like people have wanted the security of eBay as opposed to anything else. And a lot of people, that's a very good point. A lot of people probably like that that buyer's protection that they have through PayPal and eBay. So definitely a good point. But also, of course, if you buy through Facebook, you do have your paying through goods and services that protects you as a buyer. So definitely always use that. Never recommend doing friends and family, especially to newer collectors.
I found some deals on Mercari too.
Mercari can be a sleeper. Yeah, you're right about that.
Mercari can. I've got some good deals on Mercari as well. A lot more people are finding out on Mercari, so I've noticed the market is fluctuating a lot on Mercari. But yeah, you can definitely find some great deals on Mercari.
You just got to be careful with that one though too.
Yeah, that's very true. There's a lot of scammers on there, especially recently. A lot of fake listings.
But it's funny because, at least to me, they're easy to spot.
Yeah, that's true. Cigars and Bacon says, hell, 2022, I was even getting brand new figures for 100, 180 less than Sideshow. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there are still deals to be had on eBay. And Rick says, I've seen plenty of light side and dark side Anakins for less than 500, even purchased multiple. eBay is not it. Yeah, eBay is absolutely not it. But again, Rick, of course, we're using this to gauge how the market is going right now. And regardless of whether we want to admit it or not, because eBay is, as we call it, is evil bay. It's still part of the market of these figures, right? Because these listings still exist. People still paid that money for them. So we're just sharing with you all what people are paying for them. We're not saying this is what you should pay for them. And again, I mentioned before I even started talking about this, Facebook is the way to go when it comes to getting a good deal on a figure. And again, if you guys haven't watched it already, I do have a whole purchasing guide, and I talk about eBay versus Facebook and what to look for and what groups to go into. So if you really want advice on where to purchase from, check out that video. Trust me, because I am not telling you guys to run over to eBay right now, because eBay is not your best option. But again, Cigars is right. You can still find deals on eBay. You just have to be an educated collector and know what to look for. But again, check out my video for sure. Tremble says, confusing the poll. It is yes 2.0 and no leave it alone. Correct. Sorry, I should have made that more. I was too excited that I found the poll option that fast. So yes, you're answering yes if you would like to see it 2.0. Leave it alone is no. I apologize. I should have clarified that. That's my first poll, guys. Give me a break. TX Boy says, yeah, if you can snipe at the right time and get a steal. Got an Age of Ultron Mark I a while back, below retail for my first figure I bought on eBay. Congrats on that, dude. Let's see. We got a lot of people popping in the chat here. Razor Hate says, I have to pick one up eventually. If we don't get a 2.0, it's just not something that makes sense right now as a new collector. And I agree. Again, once again, guys, it's crazy right now with all of these last chance items. Everything's going to last chance really quickly. You kind of have to make your decision on, okay, am I going to keep going for the secondary market stuff, or am I going to like pre-order and purchase in the moment and take advantage of these deals and stuff for in-stock items as well? So it's definitely a tough thing to juggle. 8-Bit Flea says, I got my Manda with Blair for $350 new on eBay. That's like 600 plus on Sideshow. So yeah, again, it's definitely a sign that you could still get deals on eBay. Just don't use that as your main guide for your purchases, you know. And I see Fat Batman in the chat. Good to see a Fat Batman, and also good to see you, Big Dog Pound. Get our woo in the chat for Big Dog Pound as always. But guys, that's what it's looking like on the secondary market now. Again, on Facebook, someone has mentioned you could probably get it for about $100 cheaper, $125 cheaper. It's always good to look for deals. And again, I highly recommend when the stream is over, check out my buying guide if you're a newer collector and you're unsure where to purchase from. So, guys, next we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at a sign of a possible re-release that a lot of people picked up on. We're going to talk about our thoughts on it, and we're going to talk about some new features that we could see coming from a possible 2.0. So let me pull this up real quick, guys. And a lot of you may or may not know what I'm about to pull up, but it did cause a lot of buzz in the community, a lot of excitement in the community. But yes, I am pulling up the 501st Legion Clone Trooper from Kenobi. And that's for good reason, because this guy popped up. And a lot of people were kind of getting really excited about this. And a lot of people were kind of dissecting this photo. And the question I want to ask is, what updates / new features would you like to see if this did get a 2.0 release? And guys, I did say when I first saw this photo, I didn't think that this was a indication that we're absolutely getting a 2.0 Dark Side Anakin right now. And the only reason I say that is because obviously Hot Toys does this very often. They'll take older figures and throw them in displays. Perfect example, the Count Dooku that showed up in the photos for Anakin from episode 2. A lot of people were like, oh, we're getting a Count Dooku. Count Dooku is about to come out. And we still have not seen anything yet for a Count Dooku. So you got to understand, when they do this, it doesn't always warrant a 2.0 or it doesn't always guarantee a 2.0. Do I think we will get a 2.0 eventually? I'm sure it's definitely in the pipeline. But the question is, what updates or features would we like to see if this did get a 2.0 release? And I'll start it off. I, of course, would like to see a USB lightsaber. That is kind of standard right now with all of the dark side and light side characters alike. So, of course, a USB lightsaber. And again, guys, in the chat, feel free to throw your suggestions in. This is what we're going live for. We want to hear your guys' thoughts. So what features would you guys like to see in a 2.0? But, of course, I would love to see a USB lightsaber. Next, I'm going to have to say rolling eyeballs. The rolling eyeballs, again, are becoming a standard. They were a DX-only feature for years, and now it's becoming a standard as Hot Toys is beginning to step up their game more and more. So I love to see that, and I would love to see some rolling eyeballs. That way you can kind of position them whatever which way you want. So that's got to be a must. In terms of the robe, I would like to see a little bit of like a thin wiring in the robe, a little bit more substantial wiring in the robe to kind of do what we want to do with it. There is and Ryan often says there's kind of a fine balance with the size of wiring they put in. So I think if they put like a thin wire in this one to where it's still very posable and can hold some poses, but it's not too substantial to where it's like clunky and kind of awkward to pose. I think there's a happy medium, and I would love to see some wiring. Of course, you guys know what I'm going to say next. Give us some leather. Come on, man. Give us some leather tabards. Give us some leather boots. I know it's not a guarantee. They've kind of been hit or miss with the leather stuff, but leather boots, leather tabards, future proofing my dark side Anakin. I would love to see that. And finally, guys, and this is kind of inspired by this photo right here. Who wouldn't like to see, and especially being that I'm a owner of the original Dark Side Anakin, who wouldn't like to see a Jedi Temple stairs step display to go along with this guy, so where you can have him going down the, or excuse me, going up the stairs, going down the stairs, whatever, what have you, with 501st troopers flanking him to recreate the Order 66 scene, March on the Jedi Temple. That would be an ideal situation for me in terms of a display base. I think that would look absolutely incredible, and I think that'd be a good way to kind of do a 2.0 version of this figure without kind of angering all of the original owners, because you know how people get angry. And Hot Toys has been good about that, giving us different things here and there. But moving on to Ryan, I know you may agree with some, you may have some different thoughts, but what are your thoughts on some updates or changes that could be made to this figure if we got a 2.0 Dark Side Anakin?
I think you pretty much touched on everything I was going to say, so I'm going to pass the shoe to Chris. So figure interesting. I'm weighing in on two different options, because obviously we can take the option of hypothesizing what we want. So I'm kind of going two routes with this. I'm going like the route where if they just did a 2.0, what could be different? Obviously, I don't have the figure, so I don't know. I'm assuming better paint app. I mean, you're saying the paint on the current one looks great, but
Yeah,
I assume, better paint application.
they could still absolutely improve. You're right.
I think also rolling eyes, which, like you said, has become a feature. Now, here's where, and then obviously maybe a wired cloak just to give a little more, and a USB lightsaber. That's kind of what I would think, like right there. And then obviously, if they're going to go with this kind of scene, you'd get the temple display. And that's kind of, I think, where that kind of version goes of a 2.0. Then you probably have the higher end version, because they're not doing leather for everything. So I'm trying to be a little realistic. Like if a 2.0 came back out, I don't know if it would have leather, because they haven't done leather's been hit or miss on various figures. But if they did another version or a 2.0, it would be pretty cool. Like I said, if they did the leather, but it would be neat if they did a dual sculpt version where you had a light side and a dark side.
Yeah, so I think someone just suggested that.
I'm
I
not
think
going
it
to comment
was
if someone made that comment, but because I know the idea when they do 2.0s, using like the Mark 6 as an example, you get the figure and then you have the option of the big diorama. There's always something they always try to make, the 2.0 separate from the original. I guess the idea so the original doesn't lose value, but they always lose value. But they're not
right. It's bound to happen regardless.
With the lava base, there's that version. So to make it different, just like the Batmobile looks like it's not going to have the shell on it, because that's to the original car. So it's a little bit different, something a little different. The new 89 Batman has a different base, so it's something different to the original. So for this one, it'd be pretty cool if you had like two head sculpts. It probably would make it the superior figure, because you're getting two, but then it's kind of like, you might have people that buy two of them to be able to display both head sculpts, so for something like that. So I'm kind of torn with this one, because I really think that there's a kind of a minor 2.0 upgrade they can do. And then if they want to go all in, there's an all-in version, like a deluxe, or I don't even know what you'd call it anymore, because I don't even know if DX is even a thing now anymore.
They still do DX, so I think that would qualify as the DX, a DX release. But yeah, for sure, that'd be a cool way for them to bring back the DX. Yeah, great thoughts, and I like that you added some stuff. And guys, don't worry. Once we go through Chris's thoughts, we're going to go through the thoughts of everybody in the chat, because I see some great suggestions here, and some of them we did not mention so far. But Chris, what would you like to see if there were a 2.0 Dark Side Anakin? What would you like to see in terms of new updates / new features for the figure?
I mean, you guys basically hit the nail on the head and got a whole
probably shorter hair, right, than your version of the Dark Side Anakin.
For sure, and sculpted at that.
Right.
The one thing I think would be really cool, I haven't seen anybody do. I was thinking about the double sculpt, but if it's a 2.0, I would like it to be named like Darth Vader. So that's a simple one instead of like Dark Side Anakin or just saying Anakin.
Yeah.
Because technically that's who he became at that point. You said USB lightsaber. If it came with Dooku's again, which I don't know why it would at that point, because it was Dark Side. So, but if they did that one USB as well,
yeah.
And then what I've always wanted is they give you the droid base in the current version. Give us the other Mustafar base. I know you said steps, but I would like to see the other one that him and Obi-Wan fought on. And then
That would be cool too, like the whole platform, the floating
right,
platform. Yeah.
right, like the whole diorama platform. And then if they're gonna go that far, especially if this is maybe like around Revenge of the Sith anniversary, they could give uh, another Obi-Wan. But I've always wanted, so if they're gonna do a 2.0, and I've talked to Kevin about this, I would love to see like they did that battle damaged Spidey, like a Mustafar battle damaged worn like Anakin and Obi. I would take that. But
yeah,
that's about it as far as like, unique. Kind of took it all.
Hey, we're just that good, right? No,
Yeah.
but I totally agree, man. They definitely have a lot of different avenues they can go with this release. Let's see what the chat had to say. Let's see. TK says PERS, which is the rolling eyeball system for those that don't know. USB Saber and the Jedi Temple diorama base. Hey, we got an agreement on that one. I like that. Jedi Temple diorama base. Fat Batman says USB. Yes, USB all day, baby. That's all we want. We want USB everything. Leather goods. Yes, Big Dog Pound. Absolutely. Like I was saying, I would love to see leather goods. It's definitely going to be a huge improvement if they go with the leather route. We got another one, rolling eyeballs. KTH agrees with you. We'd love to see them give him Dooku's saber. Let's see what else we got in here. Razor Hate Play said, I would love rolling eyeballs, a USB lightsaber, and a pleather alternative. So, guys, it seems like a lot of us are in agreement. Tremble Dust, for some reason, wants USB powered eyeballs. I don't know if Anakin had like heat vision like Superman, but hey, whatever works for you. Maybe you can do a custom figure.
Hey,
that
this
way,
is a good one. Moose Stream had said about a defeated Anakin, like where they do swap out parts. You know how they're doing with Vader.
Yeah,
You can give him like the leglet, or like the droid when he's sitting on the laying on the table being built.
right, when he's screaming, and yeah, that would be cool.
Like a head sculpt being burnt head sculpt or something.
Yeah, I mean that's one I would absolutely buy. Yeah. Kaiju makes a good point here too, and Chris, this one's very familiar to you because you did a video on it. He said a better robe that doesn't bleed. I know you're very familiar with the bleeding robes. A USB saber, and of course some sand. With the sand, Kaiju, I think we could just go grab some and kind of sprinkle it in the display and kind of anger Anakin because he hates sand, you know. So he can dual wield and decapitate mofos. I like that. Real leather. Barrett says all grails are being reissued or 2.0. Only a matter of time. 89 Batman, RoboCop, Marty McFly, Mark 46, Mark 6, Bane, and Bespin Luke. I do think there are some figures that are just never going to get touched simply because they're like more of a very specific release. Like the example I always like to use is like the Imperial disguised Jyn Erso. Like that's a figure I never see being reissued unless there's like some crazy celebration for the anniversary, like 20th anniversary or something of Rogue One. But it's a figure that's like, I don't see them doing that over like a regular Jyn. You know what I mean? So there are some that they're probably never going to touch again. Another one, I talked about this with Monica the other day. I really like the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider with the Hell motorcycle, and they're never going to reissue that. You know, there's some stuff that won't get touched, but there is a lot of popular stuff that they're probably thinking about. And this is what Payton had mentioned earlier, and we kind of touched on this. He said a second sculpt without the dark side eyes with the deluxe. Now, with that, I do think Hot Toys loves their money, so I do see them, if they are going to reissue these or 2.0 them, I do see them doing two separate figures just because they love their money. But it's not completely out of the ballpark, you know. I see them doing another light side Anakin, another dark side Anakin just to get that money. Yaddle, dude, I know I was so sad that we didn't get any Tales of the Jedi stuff. I was very disappointed in that, but you know, maybe they'll surprise us with a Jedi Dooku or something. You never know.
You know how Obi-Wan came with the holograms of Anakin and Palpatine. Maybe Anakin this time comes with like some holograms of Palpatine and whatnot.
That would be
or
cool.
Like Padme's ship when he saw it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And same one says this looks like the smartest chat around. I would agree. We have a very smart chat here today. So I know you will leave a like and subscribe to the Hot Toys hotline and this killer panel if you haven't already. My tapeworm, thanks y'all. Yes, guys, if you're here, if you're new, if you have not already, drop a like and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, 3 away from 900. Can we get 900 before the stream is over?
Maybe.
Let's go.
Maybe
3 to 900. 3 to 900.
Don't jinx me again. Don't jinx me again, Ryan. You saw what happened. We were at 700. The guys were playing games with us in the chat. Raxus Prime, good to see you, Raxus. He says 2.0 for sure. It needs to be done because I don't have it and I want it badly. That's fair. Darkseid Anakin is really starting to show his age. An updated sculpt and paint apps would be great. See, I actually disagree. I don't think he's showing his age.
I've said that to you before.
Yeah, I don't think he's showing its age. Me personally, I look at it and I'm like, I think the sculpt's pretty solid. Now, there was a comment made about this here. Let's see.
You can just notice it next to like the current Anakins that are out. That's where you see it.
To me, I think the sculpt itself is fantastic, and I don't think the paint apps are like aging poorly. It's just, of course, it's from 2018. Hot Toys absolutely has improved their paint apps. Like, they're getting crazy with it down to like freckles. They're getting the freckles accurate, the depth of the paint with the different layers of skin. So it definitely absolutely could be improved. I like this comment from Daniel, though. He says, separate rolling eyeballs, updated likeness to Hayden, higher accurate tailoring, head sculpt, and dark eye bags as his appearance on Mustafar, longer hood / robe that sits better like in the film. And yeah, and it's interesting too, the light side and dark side Anakin had different robes, right? So a lot of people swap the robes back and forth on those because one's better than the other. But yeah, I would love to see all of that stuff. I totally agree with you. Let's see.
I use Qui-Gon's because it's bigger.
Yeah.
More accurate.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do that. Now, Gabe Star Wars Collection. I love the username, dude. He says they can improve the face. The old one doesn't match up in to the Attack of the Clones version. Also, they can make him more angry with his mouth open. I will say Hot Toys' new facial technology that they're using to do these likenesses is pretty incredible. I do think if they did an updated sculpt, they would improve the likeness. But again, for me, I think the likeness is fantastic. I really do. On the original figures on both of them, I think they did a great job on the likeness. But of course, there's always room for improvement. And I think with this updated technology they've been using, I think they could definitely improve it quite a bit. They can absolutely do a double pack like they did with Boba Fett. Yeah, and the thing is, 8-Bit Flea, I always get concerned about the double packs because the very obvious ones like R2-D2 and C-3PO from Attack of the Clones, for example, they don't happen. So it's like they're being very conservative with the 2 packs. Part of it, like many have mentioned, I know Cigars has said it before, is the price point. They're trying to keep that price point down. But it just really, it's hard to predict when they're going to do a 2-pack because there's a lot of 2-packs that make a lot of sense. Like Vader, for example, from Kenobi. I fully expected a DX release with 2 bodies, 2 heads, but we got 1 body and multiple different swap out parts to make him the battle damage and or the clean version. So it definitely puzzles me what they decide to do with the 2-packs because it's definitely not easy to predict. Pacino Sin says, hey, Hot Toys Hotline, did you see Adam Savage review the old Ecto 1? He mentioned the Afterlife a few times. Echoes of the DeLorean. I did see that he reviewed it and opened it. I did not watch the video yet. I kind of got some cliff notes from Ryan before the stream started. I did check Big Bad Toy Store, though, and of course, no surprise to us, the Ecto 1 first version that was $3,000 is now gone. So that is once again the Adam Savage effect. Yeah, everyone wants the pile of dead younglings, man. I don't know if Hot Toys will ever do that, but that would be pretty awesome. Rob Rod says, I love the vintage Boba Fett, by the way, in your profile picture. That's a fantastic figure. He says Clone Wars Obi-Wan or Obi-Wan from his show with the Rocks. Clone Wars Obi-Wan. Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
He's saying first of the 2 ones we have on pre-order. Clone Wars Obi-Wan, I think the likeness is better. I prefer the look of that Clone Wars Obi-Wan over the show and Obi-Wan. I did get the show Obi-Wan. I have it on pre-order, but I will say, and I mentioned this before, once I saw the Clone Wars Obi-Wan, I'm like, oh wow, I kind of defended that show Kenobi sculpt a little too much because it doesn't look very good compared to the Clone Wars one. So I would definitely go, me personally, if it were me, I would go with the Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so I'm not so emotional, or not looking at it that way. I'm more emotionally attached to it. So like the Clone Wars, I love it, like it, looks good. But the scene with him with his helmet broke, like I have to have the Obi-Wan with the rocks.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I'm getting both of them personally, but if I had to choose one, I personally would go with the Clone Wars one. But on to our next question, guys. Are there any known condition issues due to aging with this figure? Now, of course, the very obvious one is the pleather. Now, I will say it's been more so isolated issues than a widespread issue because this figure is, again, not that old. It's from 2018. But, of course, you do have some people in humid areas with pleather degradation. I mentioned it earlier. Someone said they had theirs in the box. That can cause issues with the pleather as well. So definitely be careful there. As far as mine go, again, I have both the dark side and the light side. I've had 0 issues with the pleather so far. I have seen, and it's happened to me once, the little straps on the back of Anakin's boots do peel up because of the glue. But that happens on a lot of figures over time. The glue they use doesn't really hold up that long. I mean, it is glue at the end of the day, so it does break down over time. But apart from that, I haven't seen anything. Now, another thing I want to mention to those of you who either have this figure and aren't aware, or maybe considering purchasing this on the secondary market, another very common user error, but a condition issue is right here. This hair tends to dig into the collar of this shirt here. So when you're posing the head, I always recommend to pull it up first and then turn it, because some people are posing it like this and this hair is sharp on the bottom and it just absolutely tears up this tunic here. So that is something that's happened a lot with this figure. And I noticed on the secondary market, people are listing it with that issue. But of course, that is user error. But it also has part to do with the design of the hair, right? It's a little bit sharp at the bottom. So definitely be careful with that. Cigar says, do you hear that? It's the hotline calling. Answer the call, smash the like button, and sub if you haven't. I like that, dude. Who you gonna call? I got to throw that in there for Ryan, the Ghostbusters fan.
Hot Toys Hotline.
Yeah, dude, eventually, guys, I am going to pay somebody to sing me a jingle for an intro for my channel. That's been my idea since I started this channel, but it's got to be like 80s style like that. Barrett says, because I can't sing, so I can't do it myself. Barrett says, can't say I do, but nobody thought they were going to make another RoboCop. Oh, he's responding. That is true. RoboCop was a very surprising one. Obviously, we had a thought like, okay, that's the anniversary of the first film, but I was very surprised by that as well. Ryan or Chris, are there any other condition issues that you've heard about with this figure? I think I kind of covered all of them. Anybody in the chat?
I've seen the figures with mint. Anyone selling them, I've never heard anyone selling them really with any condition issues. Maybe the box is damaged or missing an accessory, but the figure itself, I've never seen anything wrong with it.
So this one hasn't done too bad over the. It's kind of stood the test of time.
That sideshow one though, my pleather on that disintegrated. Like
that one disappeared, bro. That one disappeared.
I'm scared for this one, but I've got no problems with. So
okay, so I guess we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the question that everybody wants to know: does this deserve a 2.0, or should it be left alone? Guys, should we end the panel now, or excuse me, should we end the poll now, or should we wait till the end of the stream to let people who are coming in? We'll wait till the end of the stream, but the panel's going to give their answers. And guys in the chat, it's your time to chime in and share your thoughts. Now, guys, I hate to say it. I don't think this figure needs a 2.0. Now, I will preface that with saying, do I want a 2.0? Of course, I would buy another Darkseid Anakin. All those things mentioned in the chat, the upgrades, the updated paint apps, maybe changes to the sculpt, USB lightsaber, all that stuff, I would absolutely love it. And you guys know I'm with the day one crew on that one. I'm pre-ordering that. But do I think it needs a 2.0? In its current standings, as I look at it in my collection, for my personal thoughts, I personally think it does not need a 2.0. Does it deserve one? Sure, it deserves one. I mean, a figure that is so sought after and so many people want, I understand why people would think it deserves one. But for me personally, do I think it needs to be 2.0 at this current point in time when we have so much other stuff on the horizon, like Return of the Jedi 40th? Me personally, I don't think it needs a 2.0 where it currently stands. Another year from now, it might really start showing its age as the paint apps and stuff improve. But right now, for me, I'm going to say I don't think it absolutely needs a 2.0. But Ryan, let's move on to you. Do you think this deserves a 2.0, or should it be left alone?
So obviously when we started this series, this is what, our fourth episode. I have to try to remain subjective and unbiased as a collector. Obviously I'd love everything. So when we do these 2.0s, the way my mindset is, I'm looking at it from the community standpoint, whether or not at this current time when we film an episode, is it needed? Like, is there a need for it? And I have to take out my want for it has to be out of the equation. So like you said, if Hot Toys released this as like a Thursday night into Friday morning, that like a 2.0 Anakin Darkseid came out, they'd have my money in 30 seconds because I'd get it.
Agreed. Yeah.
But that's me being a fan. We're trying to be subjective here and finding out from the community, is this needed? I personally really don't think that a 2.0 of this is needed. I don't. A lot of people out there, and you see the comments. I know the polls against us.
Gabe, I love this comment. I had to bring this up.
Saying everyone wants it, but a lot of the comments are because I missed out on it. And as a collector, we all come into the game at different points in this career of collecting, and unfortunately, I just don't see the need. Like I said, USB lightsaber, leather, like that's all nice stuff, but I don't see it being a particular need with 100 and something pre-orders going on, and they obviously have a roadmap of what they're doing. Could there be a chance for it with Revenge of the Sith? Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen there, but at this present time, do I think it's needed? No, I don't think so. I think the market value, like we talked about, um, it's not like, if you remember the Mark V when I first got into it, Mark V was always around $1,000. Like it
Yeah.
really was. Like it stayed at $1,000, $1,500, and so I can kind of understand Hot Toys wanted to drop that to kind of, because the market was real. I mean, 650. There's Yondu's at 650. You know, there's other figures. You know, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. He's between 500-600. So I think for figures like that, that kind of is not a garner. That's not a good enough reason for Hot Toys to go in there and say, hey, the market's inflated on. We need to drop, you know, a 2.0 to give people a better chance in terms of price. I just don't see that being the need. And like I said, for what I think that they would realistically do as a 2.0, I think the figure is pretty damn good as is.
Yeah.
That there's not much improvement, whether it's an issue with the leather. I mean, there's not any issues with it except for people just want it. So I have to separate the need. And like I said, to reiterate, if it was out there, I would 100% get it. But I'm trying to separate the need from, you know, the want, so to speak. And I don't think we need it right now.
Yeah. But don't worry, guys. So we prepared for this. So that's why we really wanted to bring Chris in, because Chris did not agree with
ringer.
us.
We brought somebody in here.
Chris did not agree with us. So the people's champ is here, everybody.
Yeah.
Collecting Madness.
I got to get my belt.
Does it deserve a 2.0 or should it be left alone?
It deserves a 2.0. Oh, yes. And I'm going to say this because you already looked at it from a perspective of you being a collector. So I'm also putting it there, but I'm also going to take it a step further and put it in the perspective of other people who are new to it, just coming in, but also even further if they only collect Star Wars. Star Wars is timeless. It's a family thing. Somebody's going to come in, see your collection, or even just see online and want a version of Anakin represented in their collection. Yeah. It's definitely bound to I think it's a must. He's the chosen one. He's basically the face of Star. He's referenced in it. He was kind of acknowledged in the TV show. There's every reason always pointed back to this guy, the Skywalker lineage. So that you can't really say anything more besides that. He's the chosen one. It's a must.
All right. Well, we appreciate you saying that, because I know there are a lot of people in the chat are rooting for you now, Chris. Let's go through and see what the chat had to say, guys. I know Cigars is a little upset by our answers. This is a good point by Carlito, though. Something we did not mention as an improvement. He says the hair is my biggest issue with the current Dark Side Anakin. The sculpted hair looks so much better on newer figures and allows for better posing with flexibility. That is a good point with the flexibility, because I did mention how it was tearing into the collar, right? And they have improved that for figures like Fat Thor, for example. I'll use that because that was one of the first ones they did that really floppy hair that's very posable. Not unlike Qui-Gon Jinn, who has the stiffest hair in the galaxy. So definitely a great point, dude, for sure. Cigars says 2.0, let's go. Peyton says 2.0. Rick says no 2.0, want it, go get it. See, Rick has taken the harsh approach. He's saying if you want it, you better go buy it. Don't wait for that 2.0. Big Dog Pound says bring it on. And Tremble Dust with the Ares Tarrington Dark Jedi quote. And I say, yes. I love it, dude. I love the Ares Tarrington quote. TX Boy says 2.0 Darth Vader demands it. Now here's Cigars. He says, what? I take back what I said about answering the call. Hang up the phone. That's all right, dude. We were prepared for it. Razor Hate Play says, I'm biased since I don't have it, but I would say for sure since they can make this grail even better with new technology. And I do understand that totally. And again, don't get discouraged because Ryan are saying it doesn't need to happen. I still want it to happen. I just don't think it needs to happen.
That's tomorrow.
You guys know me. I'm the doubler and I'm the tripler. I buy multiple versions of these characters. So you know I'll buy another Dark Side Anakin. I just don't think I need it. You know, and if another one doesn't come out, me personally, since I already have the existing one, I don't think I'll be upset. You know what I mean?
Here's another thing with the DX07. How many people wanted another Luke? Or even take it further, we want more Han Solo. You have one. If you want it, go get it. But that's not the case. You come in as a new collector, you're going to want to collect that figure.
And it's about the money, too, the value behind
exactly.
These figures. Yeah.
Why would I go, especially if it's rumored or teased, why would I go and spend the money? I could. You spent it on a DeLorean. You did it on the Batmobile, or whatever figures, however many Iron Mans that have been out there. So you could have been grabbed the figure, but
Yeah.
if they can redo it 2.0, it's updated. Why not? For retail, brand new, fresh plastic, the smell, about that.
Yeah, guys.
The video.
Yeah, watch my short unboxing the Captain America, the stealth suit 2.0 if you want to know what that reference is from.
I want to get high on the dark side Anakin.
There you go, man. That's what it's all about, the smell. That's why we need it. That's our justification. So Gambino says, and this is a good point too. He says, I already have an Anakin coming, which is my favorite. So for me, no, I totally get it. And 8-Bit Flea says, I think we should get a 2.0. These figs don't last forever and they can make a lot of improvements. And definitely, like I said, for me, if they start using leather and they give Anakin leather tabards, that will be very appealing to me. And again, I won't say no to another Anakin, that's for sure. I liked this comment. I pulled it up earlier. Gabe's Star Wars collection says he's obviously needed a 2.0. He's missing his Jedi Starfighter.
I agree.
And yeah, dude, look, Howie, look, man, look, I'm going to pull my camera up here. Howie, if you're ever listening to the Hot Toys Hotline, which you probably aren't, you probably don't care about us. Like we're just a small person in the galaxy of 6-scale YouTubers. But if you're ever watching this, Howie, bring that Jedi Starfighter out from the depths like you've been doing with so much stuff recently, and give us our Jedi Starfighter. Give it the Padme treatment. Just bring it back to life, please. Because I'll buy it. People in the chat will buy it. Come on now.
Connor for president.
Maybe I got a little bit of stock back. Who knows? What's up, Sean from the Hot Toys Nightmare? Guys, check out Sean from the Hot Toys Nightmare, a weekly panel member on our main stream. Doug Gambino says we need a Dooku 2.0. Actually, I don't know if you checked it out, Gambino. I'm not sure, but we did do a video, a pre-recorded 2.0 or Leave It Alone on Count Dooku. So definitely check that out. JP says, greetings all. JP, I love the profile picture, man. That Batman hype is real right now, dude. Love to see it. CMB says, burn the heretics. Everybody's bringing up Yondu, guys. And I will say that's a hole in my Marvel collection for sure. And that is definitely one of the best head sculpts they've done thus far. That Michael Rooker likeness is amazing. So that's what I'm going to end up picking up on the secondary market, because I've just lost all hope in a 2.0 for that one right now.
I offered it to you before I sold it, but you needed that deluxe.
I needed the deluxe. I'm the deluxe guy.
Cool.
Daniel Q, at the moment it doesn't, but in 2025, since Hot Toys seems to be doing anniversary lines, I say yes, with all the necessary / major improvements. Very well said indeed. TX Boy says, recreating this scene alone would be worth it. Can't wait to look back when all these new Star Wars figs are long gone to see where they all stand then. Part of the game of collecting. And I agree, it's very fun to look back at stuff that you bought for retail and say, oh, well, holy crap, that's selling for a lot of money. I'm glad I picked it up when I did. So I didn't, what I mean? It's part of collecting, like you said, and things might be changing. That's for sure. I mean, with all the stuff early waitlisting, values may start going up again. And we just have to wait and see what happens with these figures that have been waitlisting early. We're going to find out very soon because they did start sending out emails for the shiny clone, as everybody's calling it, even though it's not quite shiny, but the shiny clone, they just started sending out emails. And that was one of the first ones that's going to be kind of our true test. We'll see what happens once everybody's figures get fulfilled.
I'm excited for that packaging though, too.
Yeah, me too. That packaging's beautiful. I love the anniversary packaging. It's so good, man. JP says, I'm in favor of 2.0s, but I don't have the original, but I'm against it when I have the OG. Yeah, so we tend to think like that sometimes as collectors, right? Tremble says Chris for president. And then Cigar says Chris is the only smart one on the panel tonight. The other two decided to take dumb pills. Darkside Anakin's got cigars heated tonight, man. Too many 2.0s will cheapen the value of the brand because it will appear that nothing is limited. And limited editions Emperor is what makes them special, valuable pieces. And there is definitely a charm to having something limited in your collection. I know some people don't agree with that. For me personally, I do like having limited pieces in my collection for sure. But guys, we got a couple more questions before we end out tonight. The next question, which I did not tell the panel about beforehand. This is kind of one of my surprise questions. I got two of those, and this is for the chat as well. Very relevant to the chat. How much would you pay for this figure on the current market? Now that we've talked about what it goes for on eBay, what it goes for on Facebook, let's say that right now, everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel went on Facebook or went on eBay searching for this figure. What would you be willing to pay for this figure right now if 2.0 was completely out of the question? What is it worth to you?
On like you and me on 3?
You and me, or you and
me and Ryan. My bad.
We'll both just say our not. Wait, so I'm going to tell you what my maximum value that I'd be willing to pay for it.
Exactly. Like what would this figure be worth to you? How much money would you shell out for this figure?
The most I would.
All right, ready? So
Yep.
if the fact if we knew that there was no 2.0,
Right. Let's
Yeah.
say
and it was this
we're
or
in
nothing,
a universe 2.0 is never happening.
I
With its current market pricing on both Facebook and eBay, what would you as an educated collector be willing to pay for this figure
Chris,
right
you
now?
ready? We're gonna on the count of 3, we'll just say a number.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
550.
Damn.
Hey.
Chris, all right. Now
What did
Chris
Chris
really
say?
wants his figure, man.
What did he say? What did he say? I didn't hear him.
Say it
What-
again.
550.
550.
I said 0.
That's the most I would pay. That's not what I want to pay. That's not what I would look for.
Right, but what is the figure worth to you? And
But,
that's why I
like-
wanted to ask that. What is the figure worth to you?
But
you know?
if there was like the only one left, I had to have it. Give it. That was his price. That's my max. That's where I draw the line for that one. And usually, I don't go that high for any other figure.
I'll share mine, even though I already have it. Being that my fandom would get the best of me, and if I didn't have this figure right now and I got tired of waiting, I'd pay.
Dude, I have a number in my head already.
I'd pay $525 for this guy. That's what I would pay.
I think you'd go 6 if you had to.
I wouldn't. I know. I see why you would think that because I do make impulse purchase sometimes. But I've gotten a lot of good deals on the secondary market, and people that have known me for a long time, you know the deals I've got, especially people in the Star Wars memorabilia and Lord Discord. You know I get those deals. So 525 really would be my max.
Now let
really
me justify my answer because I said 0, which means I wouldn't put out $1 for it. Well, obviously, let's be real. If it can't, what I mean by that is like my maximum. You know, the problem with this is that for me, there's got to be a disconnect to where at one point you just got to let it go. You know what I mean? Like the way that I collect, I will I call it backwards grail hunting, like go backwards and get.
Yeah.
But there's only like when I first started collecting, that's all I did. I grabbed Yondu, I grabbed RoboCop, I grabbed that DX09, I grabbed like all that stuff, you know. But there comes a point where I think you just got to kind of cut it off and just realize like it's not going to happen. So knowing the reason why I said I wouldn't pay anything for it, because I know that it would never drop to, I would never pay 500. Honestly, I never would. I've done that for figures in the past and I just wouldn't do it because I think I've learned that like the value is just not there for me. It's just not. I would rather take that 500 and put it into 2 new figures potentially versus that. So that's just my opinion. Obviously, if I could find this thing for $300, yeah, I'd buy it for 300, but that's not realistic. It's going to hold that value, like you said, like that 500 to 600 value. So therefore, I would just pass on the figure altogether.
Right.
Personally,
totally understand. And guys, the reason Chris and I are saying such extreme prices, right? And it's like this is of course like an extreme example, but again, Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character of all time in any show, any piece of anything. So that's why I'm like, dude, for me, I know myself, if I really, really was hard out for it, and let's say the price went super high because they didn't do a 2.0, I'd probably spend like $525 on it if I had to.
Bro,
of course,
I'll be very honest with you right now. People don't know me, but like Ghostbusters, for example, dude, I honestly, there was one point I was ready to drop $2,000 on that Blitzway.
It's hard.
I was ready to go.
It's hard.
We just bought
and I'm gonna tell you right now, like I'm waiting. Like that's like one. Like if that came in with a little more reasonable, I'd be totally psyched. Where I would think about doing something like that. How stupid that is.
Right now, and of course, we're not suggesting that you pay these prices, guys. This is just like a little fun question to throw at you. Like in another universe, what would you pay if you really were down bad to get this figure? You know what I mean? Now let's hear some responses from the chat. Gabe says he's not paying more than $350. Raxus says nothing because it's overpriced. Rick says he can be had for $350 to $480, so no more than that. Rick, I don't know where you're finding him for $350, but I want to know, dude. You're really finding some deals, bro. I haven't seen him for $350 in a long time. $480, I've seen that recently, but $350, that's a great deal, man. That's one of those that like pops up here and there over the moon. Like somebody doesn't really do research on the secondary market and just throws their figures up for sale. But yeah, $350, that's a crazy deal. Cigar says 400 max. KTH, I know he said he has his new in box. He says, what would you pay me? Dude, I don't buy new in box figures for old stuff like that because again,
200
like,
right now.
with the issues with the pleather, man, I just can't do it. I've seen too many people get burned. I'm not saying anything about you personally. It's just I have a rule with older stuff like that. I want collector owned stuff that's been put in their displays and stuff. I don't want like new in box stuff. That's just me personally. Now, if it doesn't have pleather, then obviously you won't have that issue. But Wolf Moon says 450 or 500. Gambino says 350. Carlito says no more than 500 out the door, only because of the diorama base. And that is a big selling point for sure. And again, if we do see a 2.0 Darkside Anakin, it's probably not going to have that base, which is fine because I'm sure they're going to come up with something clever and you guys will all be very happy and I will as well. Payton says if they drop the M1 Starfighter, then the Jedi Starfighter will probably do the same down the road. I really hope so, dude. I hope they pull that one out because that would be a day one for me for sure. Payton 23 says $300. The Collector says 2025 is the earliest. I'm guessing you're saying that's the earliest you could see this coming out. Razorhate Place said I pay $450 if I saw that. I get it, but anything under it's a no. $300 from TK. Jonathan says, at least he's honest. He says, I'm not interested in it, so my opinion doesn't count. Your opinion always counts, but I do appreciate you being honest. Gabe Star Wars Collection says $500 is a vacation, so I don't know about that. If you came up with an Interceptor, I'd pay up to $800. That would be cool, dude. That would be really cool. And I like this comment from Misfit because he kind of broke it down very logically. He says, I'd pay $450 shit for Darkside Anakin. You take into consideration sideshow tax plus shipping. You're probably in the $350 range. So an extra $100 would be acceptable and expected. So I do think when you put it that way, it kind of justifies that price a little bit more for sure. And Daniel Q says, if Anakin is your favorite, you should try and get him. $550 max is pricey, but it'd be worth it if he was your absolute favorite or one of your favorites. And Carluto is right. There was a point where this figure kind of shot down in 2021. I mean, and that happens, right? And with all markets, they fluctuate. And even figures like this feel the sting of the fluctuation. So yeah, he did at one point drop down to around that price. And Dooku was selling for like 285, 300 for a while, and then he's back up to 350, 400, 425, depending on where you're looking. And 8-Bit Flea says his max is 450. Razorhate, I knew what you said though. I knew what you said. Anything you meant to say anything over and you're out. I should have corrected that, but I knew what you were saying when I was reading it. Guys, I want to say before we bring out the last question, I'm truly blown away that we have 52 people watching. I honestly didn't expect that much of a turnout for especially a new stream and a different idea. So I really appreciate you guys being here. And I want to ask before we end the stream at some point, do you guys like this being in a live format versus a video? I think I kind of like it because we get to hear different opinions, communicate with you all. I know a lot of people, they can catch live streams versus watching recorded videos because the algorithm and how it throws the video at people. Some people don't catch it. So what do you guys think about doing this in a live format? Do you think it's good for discussion? I personally, I'm having a good time, and I really do like hearing the conversation.
You're welcome for pushing this off. All right, you're welcome.
Well, it's Sideshow's fault, really, because they made me glue my eyes to.
Let's be honest, it's because I got it.
Me watching you buy 17 figures last night, for 2 hours straight.
Right,
so.
Just losing my mind. All right, guys, but our final question of the stream here. Let me pull it up. When do we foresee this figure re-releasing? And that's a very weighted question. And we've had a few people weigh in on this in the chat. This one? Well, we see it here with the Kenobi stuff. And do I think that is going to trigger a 2.0, the Darkside Anakin? I don't know, guys. I do think the Revenge of the Sith anniversary is right around the corner. So I do think the timing makes more sense then. Now, hear me out. It could be a Toy Fair exclusive this year. You never know. They may say, hey, first one was a Toy Fair exclusive. Why not throw this in there? Just being with how they've done things recently, doing these waves of anniversary figures, it does make the most sense to me personally to be a Revenge of the Sith anniversary. But with that being said, I would not be surprised if they surprised us with it for like a Toy Fair exclusive or something. But my money would go on a Revenge of the Sith anniversary figure. But if it comes out sooner, I'm not complaining. I hope I'm wrong on that because, again, everybody in the chat who is really hoping for this will have an opportunity sooner than 2025, I think it is. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts? When do you foresee this figure re-releasing?
The obvious answer is going to be Revenge of the Sith. I don't know why. I could see it being next year. Just for some reason, because they do randos. They just pull a random figure out and just release it.
Yeah.
But I'm torn because I don't want to go obvious Revenge of the Sith because they've done random releases before.
Exactly. It's hard to predict, man.
You know, like they tease something like, look, I mean, I know it's not comparable, but like look at Daredevil. Like they teased Daredevil how long ago?
Yeah.
He just got announced yesterday, like just for no reason. Like in the wave of '89 Batman, they snuck a Daredevil in there. Very random. So yeah, I think it's going to depend on how heavy they go into. I think it's going to be depending on how early they go into Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi, because I think once that starts, I think they're going to put anything else Star Wars on the back burner.
Probably,
and then you'll move into. So that's going to be the catalyst in terms of how soon we get 40th anniversary Jedi, and then they'll probably ride that wave for most of the year. Maybe a little Mando sprinkled in there. So I think that's really where it's going to be. And I think he might be saved for anniversary of. So I'm going to go Revenge of the Sith. I'm just going to go safe option. I'm just thinking in my head that really when it comes to Star Wars, we're going to get Return of the Jedi and Mando. I think that's going to kill us for the rest of the year, personally.
Yeah, it's because I'm a firm believer too. I think we're going to get at least 8 releases for Return of the Jedi. I'm just going to say that right now.
I think we're
at
getting
least.
I think we're getting between 13 to 15.
I think we're going to get a lot. So I'm going to say at the very minimum 8. I just really do think they're going to hammer us, which is a good thing because Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars films. So,
well, like I keep saying, Clone Wars, I think they did 13 or 14 at least. So how do you not match that, and if not top it? So I think we're going to go 15. I think I'm going 15 as my base for figures.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, I do agree. It's very hard to predict, but there's multiple scenarios where we could see this one. Some people are saying Summer Showcase, and we're going to pull up the comments. Summer Showcase, like Toy Fair exclusives. Like there's a lot of opportunities. Yeah. Again, you are right. Like the most obvious one is the Revenge of the Sith anniversary, but again, they do sometimes sprinkle in stuff here and there, so we never know. But Chris, finally, when do you foresee this figure re-releasing?
Probably gonna go with the basic of 2025.
You think that one makes sense to you? Yeah.
Yeah, unless we saw something like, if I'm just, plucking a feather from the hat or whatever, they did like a Mando and he reappeared in there again, and then they kind of did an Obi-Wan version of it.
Yeah.
This late, because like Connor said, the Daredevil, and then now we're getting it. So anything's possible with them. We don't know what's going on with them. So
very true.
That or May 4th. I've seen somebody say May 4th, and I was like, that'd be cool.
That would be a good May 4th release. But of course, when we got our anniversary Empire Strikes Back figures, those kicked off on May the 4th. So I do understand what Ryan's saying. I think May the 4th in that time period is going to be all about Return of the Jedi. And because I think we're going to get so much stuff, I could see if it's like, let's say they surprise us and give it to us this year, it would be like a showcase thing later.
Is Anakin is he supposed to be in the new Mando at all as like a flashback? I thought I heard.
I have not seen anything about that, and I take those like
I know very with a grain of salt. I was going to say they did like a flashback to Grogu in the temple still, because I know they showed some scenes of that.
Yeah,
that's probably your last Hail Mary that he'll come out before anything major.
That's what I was saying. Like you're pulling out the sky at that point.
Right. All right, guys, let's address the chats. First off, I asked you guys what you thought of the live format, and it seems like everybody really enjoys it. So 8-Bit Flea says live is always more fun. TX Boy says I loved it. I want more. I appreciate that, guys. I really do appreciate it. Carlito says live is always better. I like the interaction with the community, and I agree. I think there's just something to being live and actively responding, and then people being able to rebuttal what you say or respond to what you say, as opposed to like YouTube comments. Matt says live is just more interactive, and it really is, and especially for a topic like this. Gabe says, I saw this on Facebook. It's finally somebody found us on Facebook. It seems like Facebook, our stream doesn't get passed around too much because we really just have it displaying in the Hot Toys Hotline chat. Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. By the way, once again, guys, the link should be in the description to the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. So if you aren't in there, definitely hop on over and join those messenger chats. We're having a lot of fun in there. Wolf Moon says May the 4th. Raxus Prime says 2025 easily. And Razor Hate Plays kind of agrees with him. He says 2025, 2026. Payton Summer Showcase Cigars is being a bit more optimistic. He says 2023, 2024, which is definitely not out of the realm of possibility whatsoever.
I hope he's right.
I do too. The sooner the better, guys. Live format is good for discussion. I prefer it. Thank you, Misfit Wolf. I'm glad to hear that. 8-Bit Flea says definitely not this year. Might be a next year anniversary release, in my opinion. Carlito says, I hope Sideshow doesn't pull a stealth suit cap on the figure if it gets a 2.0. They absolutely will not do that.
You know how mad I'd be.
No, I can confidently say that this will be a general release. They might do a sideshow exclusive accessory or something, but it's going to be a general release. Everybody's going to have a chance at it. That's a money figure for them. They're gonna give us a chance to buy it for sure. Single songwriter, good to see you, my friend. He says summer showcase or around May 25th for release. Gambino says, please, live format is great, so I prefer it. Well, guys, it seems like you guys are really enjoying the live format, so I will say we're not going to pre-record this anymore. Well, moving forward, we'll do some, and also what I may do is maybe run some polls on the channel to see what figures people want to talk about and kind of get an idea of what we should do next. I think that would be fun too, kind of give you guys a choice in what we talk about. Gabe says, is it possible Yoda 2.0, Commander Bly, Gree, or Grievous? Those are some loaded questions there. Yoda, I think it's inevitable that we're getting another Yoda eventually, just because it's Yoda. It's such an important character to the Skywalker story. So absolutely, we're going to get another Yoda eventually. When does that fit into the timing? Who knows? We did already kind of get a re-release of the first Attack of the Clones Yoda, because we did get a re-release with a slight change in the materials and such. So they kind of already did that, but I could see them doing it again eventually. Grievous, obviously, that's one that everybody has on their list because the sideshow one was just so bad. So Cigars makes a good point here, though. He says Hot Toys don't care if you're overwhelmed; they want that money. Yeah, it's very obvious now. I mean, look at sideshow right now. That's how much they care about it, right? All those pre-orders up, all these options for Iron Man, all these options for Star Wars in general. There's just so many figures. Sean says, Hot Toys Nightmare. Sean says, I think we will have Revenge of the Sith, Darkside Anakin at the 20th anniversary as Darth Vader. That would be really cool, because obviously, technically, the Darkside Anakin, they should have just called it Darth Vader and called it a day. That would have been cooler. But I'd love to see the Darth Vader wording on the box. That would mean something to me personally. Daniel Q says Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary, or perhaps next year. There's no anniversary for 2004. For Revenge of the Sith, we need a Darth Sidious and a General Grievous. Yeah, dude. So I posted my video recently the other day about some overdue Star Wars Hot Toys figures from recent content. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, you gotta mention Revenge of the Sith, Darth Sidious, and you gotta mention General Grievous." So I will do a video on Revenge of the Sith. I promise you guys, because I know a lot of people are excited for that. Peyton says Hayden Christensen is supposed to be in the Ahsoka show. Yeah, that remains to be seen. No,
I'm sorry. That's what I was calling.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Yeah. I want to see what they do with that, because there's always all rumors about who's going to be in the shows, and half of them aren't true. So I try not to pay attention to the rumors as much.
Well, they tweeted each other on that one.
12-inch Moose Stream said, I want it live if you got it. But I mean, there's been a lot of misdirection with celebrities, with shows and stuff like that. So I don't ever trust that. I'll wait and see what actually happens. I know what you're talking about, though. Thick Bantha Boy says live are the ways to go, is the way to go. I haven't been able to really settle in with the animated. Jonathan says live is the best. Oh, we're talking about Zod. Everybody's been talking about Zod. That's a hot topic. But yeah, guys, that kind of ends the questions and everything we have for tonight. Now, I do want to end the poll and kind of look at our poll results before we close out for the night. This stream format will be a little bit shorter. Obviously, sometimes we run to like 3 hours on our main streams. We want to keep this one a bit shorter. But once again, guys, we appreciate you all for being here. Let's end the poll and see what the thoughts are from the community. So, guys, it looks like 78%. 78% said yes, they want a 2.0, and 21% said no. I don't think we should do anything with that. I think we should leave it alone for now. So 78%, the community has spoken, guys. So for you, 78% of those who voted yes, I really do hope that we get this sooner than later. That way you guys who don't currently have this have an opportunity to get him in your collection. Not only that, if you have him in your current collection like I do, it'd be awesome to have an upgraded version of him. So 78%, guys, that's kind of an overwhelming one. And I'm excited to talk about some figures, that maybe people are more divided on. Obviously, Darkside Anakin is a huge grail for Star Wars, so I'm not surprised by that number on the voting. Thank you so much, everybody, for being respectful. I know it shouldn't have to be said, but I always find that everybody here in the chat is always so respectful of other people's opinions. It's very rare we ever have to delete any comments or mute anybody or ban anybody. I don't think we've ever had to ban anybody that wasn't a Tinder bot. So I very much do appreciate everybody kind of respecting each other's opinions. Because obviously Darkside Anakin gets a lot of people heated, it's a very special figure. So Andrew Lee, Right. Andrew Lee says, in my opinion, they should release a new version of Darkseid Anakin Skywalker as a Mustafar mid-fight version with messy hair and a more angry expression with a little charred damage marks on the outfit. That would be super cool, dude. And like Chris said, that like large platform that they're fighting on in the lava, that would be really cool. But yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much for being here. We have 49 people in. If you haven't already, on your way out, please drop a like on the stream. And if you liked the stream, please consider subscribing. Again, we are doing a Hot Toys giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So if you want a chance to be entered into that, that is definitely going to be a requirement. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Looks like OG Fan is in the chat. Did I miss OG Fan popping in? Yes, he says hello and goodbye. Good, Big Dog Pound. Take care. Take care to you, Big Dog Pound. And OG, it's good to see you, my dude. I hope I didn't miss you earlier. 8-Bit Flea says good night, y'all. But guys, I really did appreciate you guys all coming out. Tuesday is a different day for us. We didn't expect much for a turnout. So to have over 50 people here is absolutely incredible. You guys are some very educated collectors, and it was incredible to have your thoughts and opinions in the chat. And I look forward to doing another one now. I think we're going to do this moving forward in a live format. Again, I will try to do a vote on what figure you guys want to do sometimes, because I think that'd be fun, like a fan chosen figure that people want to talk about. So definitely I look forward to do that in the future. In terms of what I've got going on the channel, guys, I did just post a video on my top 5, I shouldn't say top 5, but 5 overdue Hot Toys Star Wars announcements. And again, in that video, I did focus more on recent content. So stuff that has come out recently, and we're like, oh, I'm surprised they haven't released figures from that yet. So I more so focus on that. I will do some videos covering like Revenge of the Sith and stuff like that. I know you guys really enjoyed the Return of the Jedi 40th video. So that's what I got up. I got some YouTube shorts planned. I just got some figures in. I have a YouTube short of a quick unboxing for King Shark. I did just get my King Shark from a local comic shop. That figure is absolutely beautiful for a power pose, guys. Don't sleep on that one if you're a fan of King Shark. And I did get Johnny Silverhand. So I will be doing a quick unboxing of that one. Just a short little 40-second video of me unboxing it. So definitely excited to show that off to you guys. And apart from that, Ryan and I have some stuff planned for some collaborative content, especially over on Ryan's channel. We want to do some stuff over there as well. And I have a list of videos. I did film 2 videos already, but I also have a list of videos that I have to film. So plenty of stuff coming in the near future, guys. Once again, thank you so much for dropping a subscription and a like on this video. It really does mean a lot. And I'm so blown away that we're almost at 900 subscribers. It's just really surreal to me. OG says on the road to 1,000. Take care to you as well, Matt, and take care everybody else who's just heading out that I didn't catch. Next, we have Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles. There is a link to everybody's channel, and of course, OG is dropping it in the chat. But Ryan, what do you have going on in the channel?
I just made a video a couple days ago. I know that the 89 Batman has launched, for pre-order, and like I said, I don't do a lot of reactionary reviews to videos because they're making them pretty much live within minutes of waking up at midnight and making reaction videos, so I don't bother doing that stuff. But I did do something if anyone's interested in. People are still watching it. I took my DX09 and I did a side-by-side reactionary and a comparison and an articulation video compared to the new one, and gave my thoughts about like pretty much I went high res with it to show you the differences between the DX09 and the new one, and whether or not it's worth upgrading to or waiting. So that's a video to check out. And another thing I actually just got today, I wanted to show people. I actually got this from CRO Customs, and this is actually, it's hard to get on camera. This is actually this is part of a couple accessories that he offers, but I'll be making a video about this. This is actually for the John Wick figure, if you're a John Wick fan. And like me, the John Wick figure comes with a multitude of accessories, and it's kind of like you don't want to put them all in the box. So CRO Customs makes a nice little acrylic display base that you can actually display all the weapons, so you can kind of interchange them. So I'll be doing a video of this along with the tactical belt, because I did make that video, but I had some issues. I had to take the video down, so I'm going to shoot it and upload it this week. So that's something if you're a John Wick fan to do. And like I said, I have a couple of videos that I have in the pipeline as well that I'll be working on. So, and I'm on the road to 700. So any support would be great. So I'm chasing some numbers myself. So I really appreciate it, Connor, for you allowing me to come on and
thanks for being here. Yeah, guys, check again, links in the description for these 2 fine gentlemen. Definitely check out their channels. And I'm looking forward to that video, Ryan. It's going to be really cool because I didn't actually get a chance to watch the original video in full before you had to take it down. So I'm excited to see what you come up with when you refilm it. But Chris, Collecting Madness, what do you have going on the channel right now?
Yes, sir. So first and foremost, thank you for inviting me to this. It's been hella fun.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
I get to see you 2 handsome fellas 2 times in the week.
Two times.
You're welcome, Chris. No, I'm just joking.
I just put out a review of the Rick Grimes by 3-0. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, check that out. Doing YouTube shorts, and then whatever comes in. I know the Clone Trooper is next. We got emails for that. So whenever that, review will be up of that.
But if you're Chris and I, we did not get emails for the DeLorean, so Ryan clearly paid off Sideshow.
Modifications ready to go. Oh, you'll see a ton of DeLorean videos. You want to mod it? You want to take your DeLorean to the next level? Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, and I'm on a smaller road. I'm trying to hit 500. I'm actually pretty close. I haven't.
You're moving, man. I mean, 500. That's big, dude. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud of you too, Ryan. It's 500 and 700, man.
Yeah, dude. We trying to be like you when we grow up. So
I don't think anybody wants to be like me, because then you'll have no money at the end of the day.
But I got a DeLorean though.
Yeah, guys. Just to let you know, guys, on Thursday's stream, we're not going to allow any DeLorean talk. I'm cutting it off. I'm so angry. I'm cutting it off now. But yeah, guys, so go check out Chris from Collecting Madness. And again, Ryan from Mr. Mom Collectibles. Links are in the description. That's all we got for you guys. Thank you once again so much for being here. I'm just blown away by the turnout. This is a new thing, so we didn't expect much, but it's been absolutely incredible. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, you'll see us again this Thursday at 7 p.m. EST for Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 41, guys, moving along. And there's a lot of news to talk about this week. So I know you guys are eager to talk about that news, but don't worry. We're going to talk about it on Thursday because there's a lot to cover. So we will see you all on Thursday. I didn't go through and individually say goodbye to everyone, but thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care and have a good one. And we'll see you on Thursday. I can't wait for it. Thursday is the best day of the week because we're hanging out with you all. So take care, everybody, and we will see you on Thursday.